Hello and welcome back to the Doctor's Garage. So I was recently thinking, how much have I spent on my Land Rover Defender so far? And it comes to somewhere around £10,000. So the question is, with all that spent, has it been worth it? So I've had quite a few new subscribers on the channel. I thought, why not talk about the last year in review, talk about what I've done to my Defender, starting with the outside, moving to the inside, talk about what's definitely been the best spend of my money, what probably I could have done without, and maybe what I could have done better. So if you're doing stuff to your Defender and you're interested in seeing what my journey was like doing all those parts, stay tuned for this video. I'm going to be listing everything in the description below this video, so if you wanted to buy any of the parts on my random hunts throughout the internet, I've listed all of them in the description below. So I'm going to break this video up into 3 parts. You've got the exterior, you've got the performance of the engine side of things, the mechanics, the underneath of the car, and then also the interior. And for each of those parts, I'm going to say what was the one best modification that I couldn't live without that I've done, and also probably was one thing I've done that hasn't really made a difference and actually I probably wouldn't do again if I had the same chance. So let's start with the outside and cover those points. So let's begin with the front of the car and talk about the things that I've done initially. So the black lettering is something that I put on this truck. We also did all the bolts in stainless. That includes the bumper bolts that you can see right here, and also everything right up to like the nuts there, the bonnet, everything else has been done in stainless steel. It's also had things like the black badging that I put on this KBX grille that came in my car. Quite like the KBX. I'm not sure if we'll keep it forever, but for now it's all right. It's also got the ORE steering guard. I've got to say, ORE go on about their coating, and honestly, this thing has lasted better than anything. In regards to any chips or dings that I've got on it, it hasn't rusted anywhere at all, and still pretty much looks brand new, even after being fitted for about a year now. So really impressed with ORE and the coatings they use on their materials. Definitely recommend any of their gear, to be honest. And you can actually get a bit of discount with ORE. If you quote the code TDG in the checkout, you get some discount off their gear too with me. So go do that if you're interested in buying ORE stuff. Moving on through the car, to the sides, we've got the arches and the roof, which are sprayed gloss black. And I've got to say, when it comes to the outside, I pretty much think that's the best thing I've done for my car. It used to have actually a matte black wrapped roof, which was white underneath. And then the standard arches, I've sprayed them both gloss black. And I think that's really the thing that set the car off the best, with a few gloss black features like the bonnet wingtop vents and also the wing mirrors as well. So I think all in all, the gloss black with the green looks really good on my Defender. Exterior wise as well, and probably a very close second, is actually my tyre setup. So this did come with the black boost alloys, you can see, so standard Land Rover parts, but I put these Cooper SVT Pros on, and I think for a Defender they just work really well. These are on a 30mm spacer, so they just stick just to where the arch is, so I think the perfect kind of size really for that wheel and tyre setup. So moving around the back of the car, we've also got the tints that I did. So these are full limo tints on all the back windows, and you can't basically see through that, which I really like. I think it suits again with the black and the green vibe. So for me, I would definitely recommend that. Tints are a good idea. I cut these rear quarter panels out in my truck to make it look a bit more like a station wagon, because it was a van back originally. And that worked really well. And again, looks pretty factory actually. I'm quite happy with how that turned out. So did things like the new badging on here. So just got some new gloss black badging on the TD5 badging. It just refreshes it up and makes it look a lot better than it was before. You can see here, stainless fixings on there. Smoked LED indicators. All these are smoked. These lights, the indicators and the side lights. It's also got halo LEDs with the main headlights. So much better than the standard light upgrade there. Let's go around the back of the truck. Again, some new badging we've got on here, which are all available in the description if you want those little badges like the Union Jack, or things like the black Defender logo there. We've got things like the number plate block. I took that off and put this LED block on instead, and I've just shortened it, made it look a bit neater I think at the back. Again, smoked all round. If you're looking at getting that done to yours, they're all smoked on this car. Things like the rear step, just like a nice to have. I quite like the look of the rear step on the back of the Defender. It makes it a lot easier to get in and out of. I always put the tow ball on and the new mud flaps. Also things I've recently done, things like the rear camera, which I'll talk about when we get into the interior side of it. So from the back, quite a few upgrades, and I think just set it off really well. I think exterior wise, we're pretty much there. There are a few things I'd like to do in regards to security that we're doing very, very soon on the channel. So definitely subscribe to the channel if you're interested in seeing any security upgrades that I'm doing to my Defender, but that will be soon. Now, if I had to pick one thing that I've done to the exterior, as I said I would, that I would probably not do or do better, it would probably be having the tyres this way around. So I'd probably put the white lettering on the inside of the tyre rather than the exterior, because I just think over time they've kind of yellowed a little bit. And I think at the time I like the white writing on the outside, which I still love, but I'm worried that's going to get worse and worse as time goes on. So I'd probably have the tyres the way around. Something to think about if you're getting your tyres upgraded. So let's talk about the mechanical upgrades, and we'll jump inside the car because it's getting a bit windy. So you can see the stance of my Defender at the moment. It is at standard height, and it is on Alive comfort springs with Fox shocks. And mechanically I've done that, and I've also had this engine stage 2 remapped at Alive, and it's got a full Alive intercooler system as well. So performance, engine wise, I guess that's the main upgrades. I've had the remap of stage 2 and the suspension too, and it's really hard to pick between them as to which has been the biggest upgrade. I also had the anti-roll bar fitted as well, the suspension. I would probably say, and it's not really that fair, but I'd probably say those things go together as probably the best upgrade, because the remap really works with the suspension. It kind of ties in so closely that you couldn't really have one without the other. I did have my car remapped for about 7 months without the suspension and the anti-roll bar, and you couldn't really use it as well. Like, I really felt that together they make the biggest impact. So I'd say that's probably the best mechanical engine upgrade that I've done. For the worst mechanical or engine upgrade I've done, I would say it was probably not reading the instructions properly when I was fitting my steering guard and putting a bolt straight through my radiator and cracking it. I'd say that's probably the thing I wouldn't do again if I had the choice. Other things I've done to the underside of my car and the chassis, I guess, is done a chassis treatment. So I've done a Lanagard chassis treatment, which I was really, really happy with. It was super easy to do, and it was relatively cheap to do, and it's lasted. It's worked quite well. You have to do it, a couple of times a year, let's say, but Lanagard, if you're doing your undercoat on your chassis, definitely recommend it as a product. Finally, let's talk about the interior. What have I done? What's been the best? What's been the worst, or something I could have done better? Now, there's a lot of interior upgrades I've got planned for this Defender. As you can see from the outside, I love it. I think it's really coming on well. But from the inside point of view, there's a lot I want to change. One being these seats. So let me talk about interior with you. If you haven't seen this before, let's go through everything I've done. So to start with, it's been fully sound deadened. I've used Silent Coat 4mm on most of this bodywork actually in the rear. I've also carpeted it myself, but again, it could be done a lot better. Roof-wise, I've recently done all this suede trim, so it's kind of fake Alcantara product. Again, that's in the description below if you want to buy some. It's been great actually, it's really worked well, and again, sound deadened above that. I also did this rear bulkhead. You can see I've cut that out on both sides, which means that these chairs can just lean back like they are a lot more than they could before. So it makes it a lot more comfortable to drive in. Again, very recently on the channel, I have done this rear view mirror with the camera. So that's a live stream. So you can see that's a rear view out the back of the car. You can scroll up and down on that. I think it's a really cool camera, works really well. Turn the brightness up like that so you can see. But yeah, that's something I fitted very recently on the channel. You can watch how to do that if you go through my channels, the videos that I've just put up out here on the channel. Another thing, LED interior light, really simple little bulb upgrade, but makes it a white light rather than that horrible yellow one. That's made a huge difference. And I have done something with the steering wheel, but I'm not going to show you that yet because I've just done a video on that and it's going to be amazing. I'm really, really excited to share all this stuff with you with the steering wheel side of things. So watch out for the next video in the next week or so for that. So if I had to pick one thing for the interior that I would definitely do again, it's been a good spend of money, it would actually be the sound deadening. That's made the biggest upgrade. At the start, I put one pack of Silent Coat on and I wasn't really that impressed. But putting 2 more packs on, so 2 more bulk packs that I put on this car, it can get quite expensive, but it's really made the biggest difference to just living with this car and driving with it, using your radio, speaking on hands-free. And that was actually the upgrade where I did all the sound deadening to the roof. So the roof lining Silent Coat was the best upgrade that I did because it made the biggest difference to driving and living with it. Even though the camera, the suede trim was all very good, that probably was for me the thing that made the biggest difference. The thing that I've done that I spent a lot of time on that wasn't worth time and I wasted money on was buying all that rear carpeting. I didn't do enough research into what I need to do or what I was trying to achieve, and I've kind of done a job that I know I'm probably going to have to take off and do again because it's just not very good. So I'd say if you're going to do the carpeting, I don't have a good answer for you at the moment, but I am going to be doing it in this next year, getting all that upgraded and getting that sorted. So rear carpeting, make sure you really know what you're doing, and actually when you do it, make sure you've got enough rubber matting underneath, enough silent coat on the metal. Don't rush to do it, because for me, I rushed into that and thought I'm going to get it carpeted really quickly, it'll look great, and it did, it looked better, but actually I didn't do a proper job underneath, and that has made me think I probably spent some money when I didn't really need to at that point. In summary, I think that basically covers it. The exterior, the mechanicals, the performance, the upgrade stuff, and also the interior. I would say for me, in the last 6 months, I've really started to love my Defender. I've done a lot more to it, and it's really kind of started to build some momentum in what I want to do with it more. So I would say the mechanical side of things have been the best part for me, alongside things like on my headlining, have just made the car feel a lot more fun to drive, a lot easier to live with. And so I'd say those kind of upgrades are probably my all-time favourite. So your suspension and your remap, plus the interior sort of trim and plushness. All the cosmetic stuff I did on the outside, like the spray in the roof and stuff, yeah, it looks good, but it's not something that really made the biggest impact for me. So I think in the first instance, you've just bought a Defender, you want to start doing some stuff to it, I'd probably, if it's standard, get a stage 1 remap, because that for you is going to transform the way your car drives, and you'll really start to kind of enjoy your car a bit more. I hope that video has been useful and it's given you an insight into my journey with my Defender. I'd love to hear yours. What's your top modification you've done for your Defender, and what's been the worst spending money? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel for everything else I'm doing on my Defender, and I'll see you guys in the next video.